Hello, everyone, and today it is April the 14th, and I'm very excited to have Matthew Ashdown with me. And Matthew and I met a few years ago, and we did some work together, and I've taken a lot of training with him, and he's going to explain what he does. He's actually a gene key coach, okay? And of course, I do astrology. I'm a spiritual and business coach. And so it melds together. It's wonderful. Matthew, do you want to share with them?
What the genekeys is about?
Yes. And
Absolutely.
who you are and where you are and what you're offering right now. That's exciting.
Oh boy. Okay. Free reign. Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm a gene key guide. I live on Vancouver Island and a beautiful part of the country. That's where I met you, Sandra.
Yeah.
And yeah, I stumbled across this thing called the gene keys about 10 years ago. And I'd been to astrologers and I'd been to many guides along the way, and I loved them all. And then there was something about the gene keys that spoke to me in terms of its complementary nature with astrology. So I think that's why we're so interested in it. Like, I'm really interested in the astrology work you do, and you're really interested in the gene keys because there's definitely a crossover. And the gene keys has a is influenced by astrology. Like when we look at a gene keys chart, for instance, we see there's everybody has their own individual chart based upon their birth time and their birthday. And there are 11 spheres currently in the chart. We're going to be seeing it growing soon. And each of these spheres contains a gene key, a number. And so everybody's got their own unique blueprint. And so this blueprint is something we can turn to contemplate in our lives, and we can contemplate many different aspects. And so we see how certain areas of the chart, say, are influenced by Jupiter, or other influenced by Venus and Mars. We have something in the gene keys called the venussequence, and its influence is Venus and Mars. It's about relationships. It's healing relationships. And that's something that comes across my path a lot is work with relationships. And, these are interesting times that we're in, and there's a pivot taking place in society in so many ways, and relationships are strained and people are looking for new relationships. And so I find the gene keys work really supports people on their journey. It gives them this way to come to know themselves and know what their contributions are in relationships. And, whether those contributions are the shadow, whether they're bringing the shadow and projecting that all over the other, or whether they are learning from relationships in their lives to be able to anchor themselves more fully in their gift. And a lot of people come my way who are journeying with the gene keys, who are actually looking for love in life. And so that's one of the offerings that I have coming up soon. It's called Calling in the One. And it's really geared towards people who they're not currently in relationship, and so it's like, how do I work with these gene keys when I'm not in relationship? When am I going to attract the one? What am I doing wrong? How am I getting in the way? And those kinds of things. And we explore it in a very empowering way through coming to know self, through cultivating our gifts, through understanding our shadow, and just really coming to know ourselves. So that's really, the crux of it in many ways. And the gene keys can be used to look at our many different dimensions and areas of our life, from our business to relationship to our genius. And it really just depends what people want to come to it for. So I think that gives a little bit of a background in what I do without diving in too much.
Yeah, it does. And then we'll put the website up on it. But one of the reasons that I contacted Matthew and said this is of prime importance, okay, is because we are in the middle of the eclipse season. And it's a very powerful, Matthew. I mean, we have a Taurus North Node. We have a South Node in Scorpio. That's 18 months it's going to run, and it doesn't come around for 18 years. And it's going to affect you, and it's going to affect me. That's very important. So we take advantage of that. And so for everybody, it's right now the eclipse season is affecting everyone. We've got 2 eclipses coming up, but it lasts for 6 months. So this is an opportune time for people to jump in. And if you want to explain your course and how they can contact you, okay, that's what really excited me, because I've taken a lot of workshops with you and I find it very dynamic, and it's really helped me. Okay, even though
Awesome.
I've done the astrology for 50 years, it's another part to it. Okay, it's like the puzzle. It's just putting everything together. Okay. And
And that's
so,
what a lot of people say when they find the gene keys too, because a lot of us come to the gene keys who've done, work. We've done work on ourselves. We've really come to know ourselves. And I know people that have gone on deep dives into their lives, and they find that when something about the gene keys just takes them even deeper into it. And so it's full of the unexpected. It's pretty cool in that way. And so what's kind of interesting as well is the timing. You mentioned these eclipses. Now, when do we see an eclipse this month? Do you know the dates off the top of your head? Because I've
yeah,
seen
I actually had them written right down. Just a second here.
because yeah, absolutely. These all these influences that are taking place at this time can
So
really be
April the
opportunities.
1st, we had the new moon at 11 degrees of Aries, and that was powerful because we are in the energy of Aries. And so 2022 New Year's we have as the new year. The Chinese New Year is February, okay, the new moon. And now we start astrology, the astrological new year with Aries, and it's action. So it's now time to take action, okay?
Mhm.
Then what we have is we have a full moon coming up on April the 16th, where we had that. The big one is April the 30th. We have a new moon, partial solar eclipse, Matthew, at 10 degrees Taurus. Powerful, okay? Because that's the nodal one. Then on May,
And
okay.
what does that mean for the nodal one from an astrological perspective?
Okay, so because the nodes is like it's a part of destiny. And so for every 18 years, we go into a new axis. So the axis that we're just doing right now is the north node in Taurus and the south node
Mhm.
Scorpio. Okay. And so what that means is we're looking forward, and anybody with specifics in Taurus, that's it. And if you have a Taurus, if you have a nodal return, the angels pick you up for 18 months. But the power in this is everybody is so tired of all the drama, the two realities we're living in, the emotions, whatever. And Taurus says, stop.
Mhm.
Taurus is ruled by Venus. Okay. Taurus is very earthy. It's very grounding. Okay.
Mhm.
And so let's get practical. Let's get simple, and let's get real. Okay,
Mhm.
which is so beautiful. So it adds to the peacefulness. And I think on one of yours that I was reading of this, of the journey with your workshops, is about finding peace and surrendering, okay, and having trust. So we don't, I mean, that's part of the magic of it, okay? And so it's to go there and to make the changes. And so, I mean, people are moving, they're uncoupling, they're selling everything, going to another country, everything, okay?
Yeah.
The most important thing, Matthew, is what are they doing for themselves?
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
happening right now, okay? And so the power is it. And it's so fabulous because I'm not going to tell anybody, but I know, but because it's a private thing. You have such a powerful happening until 2023, like both you and I do, because of the Taurus, okay? And so,
And Uranus in Taurus
pardon?
with
Oh,
Uranus.
well, but that's the interesting thing. So now we have the North Node, okay, in Taurus. So it's going to affect Sun sign Taurus, Moon Taurus, okay, Sun Taurus, and then some people have a nodal return in Taurus. Okay. At the same time, we have Uranus in Taurus, and Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. Okay. And what it is it's awakening. So it's like Uranus is like lightning. All of a sudden you're going along and it's like you'll maybe do a session like yours and it's go, oh my God, I got it.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's the power. And it's very interesting that you were guided by your intuition and spirit to put it at this particular time when,
When the 30th is the date of the first one. So
well, it's
in,
absolutely perfect.
yeah.
It's perfect.
And
Okay.
that's part of my trusting, is that when I feel that call, and then just, trusting that. And it's really interesting as well. You mentioned the North Node, because in Gene Keys, the North Node is the 23rd Gene Key right now, which is simplicity, which is about grounding, which is about trust, which is about all those things you were sharing. And then Uranus is currently sitting in the second Gene Key, which is my life's work Gene Key, which is the gift of orientation. And so this calling in the one, where a lot of people are feeling, in relation to relationship, is that they're feeling a little lost. They don't want to do the online dating. They don't want to, they're struggling with that playing that game in some way. And this is about all bringing it back to ourselves. And we have particular keys in our charts that will, that kind of shape and influence what's called our attractor field and what we draw to us. So it's like, in effect, it doesn't really matter which process we take, whether it's online dating or going, the universe is very intelligent. It's going to find ways to bring these, it's not going to not take place just because we're not going somewhere. And so this it's about restoring a sense of trust in self, because after many
Yes.
relationship challenges, I think a lot of people have kind of lost that sense of trust. And it's also about opening up to joy and playfulness. And because it's like, if we want to be drawing those kinds of relationships to us, then to be in that naturally ourselves, to release that playfulness within, can be such a potent reminder at these times. And so it's about acknowledging our shadows and the shadows of past relationships. And I'm talking about, we're working with the kind of like Ebenezer Scrooge, right? Gets visited by the three ghosts, past, present, and future. That's
Right.
the same we're doing here. Relationship, past, present, and future. And we're not going to be diving deep into the gene keys. You don't have to have any background in the gene keys. You don't need to have any background in astrology or anything like that. You just have to be wanting to call in the one, right? And and we're looking at
that's
that.
the good part of it though, Matthew, is if they decide that they want to do more training on it, but this is so potent right now. The potency, as soon as you sent it, was like, oh my God, we need to share this with people. And so it will be up on the YouTube. You'll have it on yours. And then I'm going to personally share it, because I've done 4 or 5 different, and it happened that it is relationship issues. Okay. And the power, and you're right. They question themselves. And it's not, I mean, you have helped me so much. It's like, okay, you look at a relationship. What did I learn? And how can I go on? But I can't do that in my head. I need to be able to, move it through my whole body where the healing is, but that doesn't mean it's going to take me 2 years. Okay.
Yeah.
We got to start somewhere.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're not putting the joy off to the future, is to be able to bring more of that into the present moment. And in fact, to be in the joy even in our singleness, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes that
I have to
takes
say,
a
I'm
while.
happily married, right? So I'm speaking from the perspective of somebody who has I played the single game for a long time. And so I can see these patterns. And if I look at my gene keys chart, I can see why things played out the way they did. And also, where I was, the state of mind I was in, what I was focused on when my wife came into my life. And so, that's the kind of thing I've, over the years, speaking to people who have been in relationships, and I say happily married, but, let's get over this illusion that happily married means never any conflicts, because there absolutely are these conflicts. It's just, there's this resolution of them where there's deep healing that takes place in relationships. This is about allowing those relationships into our life.
Right. I can't remember what number 16 is, because I wrote them all out as we were doing the courses, because I'm so OCD, I'm writing them all out. But I always remember 16 is something to do with relationships. And I always think that's a really powerful one. Okay. but that's just my intuition talking right now. So 16 goes to a 7, which is, do I really know myself? Okay. But anyway, I'm just too excited. We want to keep this short and sweet because
Yeah.
my personal mission is to be able to spotlight you and to be able to share this workshop with others. And I
Thank you
think
very
it's an
much.
opportune time, like I say, with the eclipses, how you have chosen it based on your intuition. And that's basically the trust. Okay. And so
Yeah, I didn't know it was until I think I read something by you or somebody that another astrologer that was talking about it, the 30th and what was happening. But that was after I'd already set the dates. And that happens a lot of times where there's these, I'll be in groups and classes, and even if they're midway through the class, there's some kind of synchronicity that takes place. And it's just like, there's a higher harmony to everything that's taking place, and it's being able to observe that and see that, and then bringing that same kind of trust into relationships.
right. And so the dates, Matthew, if you want to tell them a little bit about the course.
Yeah, so it's a
The
3-part
times.
course.
Okay.
It's a 3-part course. It's 3 Saturday mornings, at least BC time. So if people are in Europe, it's going to be like 5 or 6 in the evening for them on a Saturday. For people here in Canada, it'd be between 10, 11, 12 on the Saturday morning. Three Saturdays, and they're 2-hour sessions. And so we spend this time, it's interactive. I always do them as interactive. I will be sharing guidance and insight from the gene keys and from experiences. And then we're also flushing things out together in the group. So there will be common threads. I'm already seeing it in the people that have signed up, the common threads. And we usually, I'm going to guess there's probably going to be about anywhere from 15 to 20 people in the group. So it's not going to be a huge group, and it'll be, because I like to keep it interactive in that way so that we can bring forth what wants to come alive. And so I'm facilitating what is naturally wanting to emerge at this time anyway for people. And so we'll be looking at aspects, particular gene keys in the gene keys chart, namely the attraction sphere, which if we're calling in the one, we want to be looking at the attraction sphere. So we'll be looking at that over the course of it. And we'll also be looking at the role of what's known as our core sacred wound and how that emanates through and becomes important in the kind of relationships we're meeting along the way. So it's a 3-part dive, and
The dates are April.
It's the 30th, and then
the 7th,
the 7th, and then
the 14th.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, from 9 a.m. And what I was going to say was, because I'm going to be sending this to some of my friends in New York and some other people, is do they actually get a gene key? Do you send them their personal gene?
I will send them their chart. Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. Okay, so that's really good. And then they can make a decision if they want to go further, if they want to have a private reading or whatever. This is like a sampler, kind of like a taster. It gives them an idea of what it's all about. And I love it. And so
Awesome.
what we're going to do is, if you have anything you want to finish with, what I do want to say is I want to thank everybody. And I'd really appreciate it if you would comment on this, on the YouTube, on the video. If you put a comment, basically I do a draw once a month. And if you would share it, and if you would subscribe to the channel. And Matthew is going to make the hashtags and the name for it and everything to make sure that it's really, really clear. And get a hold of him as soon as you can, because as far as I know, Matthew, this is going to be a great weekend where people are going to be able to look at this, and it will go up tomorrow. And like he said, he keeps it small. You might open a second one later if you make a decision, if the first one gets too full. Okay.
Yes, and there's also other people that are wanting to do it that can't make these times. I'm catering to an Australian crowd as well, and so Australians, they don't want to be getting up at 3 a.m. to talk about relationships.
I know. Exactly.
So we'll aim for a little bit later for some of them.
Okay. Well, so thank you so much, Matthew. And I'll let you say your final words to everybody, and then that'll be it.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you, Sandra, for giving me this opportunity to come forward and talk about it. And I think this is very impactful times. And you've even given me more like faith in this venture by just sharing all you've shared about the eclipses. And because like I said, my intuition pulled me to these dates and these times and this, and it was actually through requests from a number of my clients. And so I just trust in that higher harmony that I don't know what's working it behind the scenes. Yeah. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. And the one thing I do know is I always say there's a divine time. And the one thing I have learned after all of my years in my undertakings, let's say that, is that sometimes when I feel bad about something and I look back, the divine knew better than I did.
Absolutely.
And the divine took care of it. And so my trust and faith, I think was something that I really had to, I don't know if it was to work on it, but to go deeper with it, Matthew. And thank you so much. So I'm going to, so make sure you check it out and get a hold of Matthew as soon as you can.